Hi everybody, Phillipaht here, and today I'm going to share with you an interview from my dear future wifey. They're interviewing a wonderful young couple. They met and got married in 5 months. It's very inspiring what I got out of it. As I was looking at this couple, they were so elegant, beautiful. The guy talks about how he really felt like he needed to search for his wife on social media. So he was going through all these ladies' social media looking for, just wanting to find a connection with one. He found this lady whom he eventually married in 5-6 months. As I was listening to them, I just realized that it's not everyone who will have that kind of who meet their husband or their wife in that same way and get married in that same way. It's not for everyone. But also faith has to do with it as well. I'm 46 years old. When I was younger, I was very romantic. I used to read these books at those times. They were called Mills and Boons. These books are not really good. They're not good. I wouldn't recommend anyone to read them now. But I used to read a lot of them, and I wrote a few of my own back in school because I was very much into books, and probably because of my childhood, I was looking for a place to escape. So movies and reading was my way of escaping. So I had this romantic notion about relationships, and when I started working, I used to do wedding deco, and I did a lot of weddings. I did a lot of decorations for weddings. So I had in my mind like my dress, my wedding colors and everything. But as I got into relationships and I got engaged twice and they didn't work out. And as I grew older, I kind of lost that romantic notion. Right now, I'm not thinking about my colors. I don't want a big wedding. I want something small and subdued. I'm not looking at fireworks and all that into meeting my husband, but I just want to meet and get married to the right man. And so it has taken me a while now. I've gotten to an age where I just don't want to get married to just anyone because I've stayed this long single because I want to do it right. And I've not had a child. My mom wants me to have a baby. She tells me, just have a baby. You're getting old. You might not be able to have a child. But for me, I want to do it right. I want to do it according to the word of God. And of course, I could adopt right now, but I also don't want to raise a child in a home where there's just one parent. I want my child to be able to have a mom and a dad because I believe in family. Even if I get to the stage where I'm not able to have kids, we can adopt with my husband by God's grace. So I hope this will be helpful to you and enjoy the interview. I'll see you again next time and be blessed.
What made you want to do that so soon? Give her the plan so soon?
On the first date.
Yeah, on the first date.
Literally, we had been vibing for about 3 weeks. I knew where we were in a relationship. You know, when I prayed to God, God, who is this woman to me? You know, this is how I'm feeling. I brought my feelings, my desires, my emotions. I said, God, you got to show me, and then he gave it to me on the fast. He said, this is my daughter. He said, I want you to protect her, honor her, and love her. And from that moment, I walked away from that fast like, she went from me pursuing her to her actually becoming my assignment.
Welcome to Dear Future Wifey Podcast. I'm your host, Terry Star Whitfield. This couple that we have today, certain people that come across my feed that I say, I got to have them. Why? It's because I believe that what God is going to do for me in this journey of love, that he spoke a word in my life a couple of years ago where he said it will happen suddenly. And this couple, y'all have heard me say that a lot, that when God brings the right person in your life, it happens suddenly. There ain't no time to be waiting and procrastinating and trying to figure it out. God already did that for you. And he prepared you for such a time as this. So without further ado, welcome to the Dear Future Wifey Podcast. My new homies, Stefan and Iman Alford. How y'all doing?
Good.
It's so good, man.
Look y'all all cuddled up or whatever.
Great to be here.
Like, good Lord, y'all can... you can't spread apart a little bit. You got to be all booed up. Look at it.
This is how.
That's how y'all are.
This is the new norm.
It's the new norm. So what is this? God remember. What is that about?
Yeah, so actually it was inspired by a post. The first post that I posted about Iman, I'm not one to post, anything regarding any relationships. But when I knew that she was the one, I literally posted her and I said that a hashtag God remembered. Mm-hmm. So I have been waiting. When I tell you I've been waiting for this moment, for this season, and it's a beautiful thing when it shows up in the flesh. And Iman is someone who I'm very, very honored to call wife. And so when I say God remembered, it is a movement. It's a movement to inspire people, to let them know that if God remembered us, he will certainly remember you.
That's what I'm talking about.
He doesn't have no respect of person.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of things we all have to dig through internally, externally, whatever it is. But it's a movement happening.
Miracle of love. Miracle of love. Because when I started hearing about your journey and how we're going to get into it, so I'm not even going to mess up the story. I want y'all to tell it because I love how I just love hearing y'all story. So we're going to go ahead and go all the way back. Mm-hmm. No, first we're going to start here. How long y'all been married?
How many days, babe?
You been counting the days?
No, I haven't been counting the days.
Well, we got married October 28th.
Yes.
No, it's October 29th.
29th.
I'm sorry.
October 29th. You got engaged on the
28th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So before they say that, they're going to be like, how that make sense? Here we go. Y'all met on social media what month?
It was May.
May 14th.
May the 14th. Mm-hmm. Take us back there. What happened? I want to go first from what state you were in when you received this DM, and then I want to go back to what state he was in. So you woke up one morning, and what happened?
Yeah, so May 14th, I was staying in Memphis, Tennessee. That's my hometown. And prior to, I was praying, asking God for my husband a few hours before he DM'd me. And so when I wake up, I see his DM. And Instagram, typically the DMs come to your request. But this time, it was directly on my phone. Like when I woke up, I saw his message on my screen instead of like in the request folder. So I was shook. I'm like, okay, who is this man?
So you said the night before you had prayed what?
I was praying for my husband hours before. So probably like 6 hours before. I was just up walking the floor in my mom's home, and I was praying to God for my husband.
So we've heard about the Sierra prayer. Now we got to talk about the Iman prayer. The Iman prayer. And you said that you were walking the floor.
Yeah, the hallway in my mom's home.
So what made that moment? What happened in that moment for you to be so intentional that night? What was going on?
My spirit. I just had so much faith because I talked to my godmother that week, and she declared over me that I was going to meet my husband, and it was going to happen just like that. So in that moment, my faith was activated, and so I didn't forget that conversation with her, and I'm like, God, it's time. So I just started praying. So I got up, and I just declaring those things that were not as though they were. And I just started speaking, God, I'm believing for you to send my husband, and I'm declaring that it's going to happen just like that because I just believe that you're going to do it. That word was released, so now I'm in faith for it. And I woke up, and he DM'd me.
Slid.
He's like a baseball player. He just slid right on in there. Slid right on into home base. So what happened? So where were you at mentally that sent that message to her DM? What were you thinking?
Yeah. So if I could scroll back to December of the previous year, I had prayed up before God. I said, God, help me to identify who my wife is.
Help me to identify who my wife is. That is the most imperative thing to actually pray.
Yeah.
Because you can meet a lot of women, but that don't mean that. I always say I meet a lot of wives,
right?
But they're not mine.
That's it.
That's powerful.
See, a lot of women don't understand that just because a man doesn't choose you doesn't mean that you're not a wife. You're just not his. Mm-hmm. And you can be solid, an amazing woman, but what he said is that, I meet, especially in the church, when you get intentional and you start drawing great quality women to you, it's imperative to be able to discern that which is yours and that which is not.
Yeah.
That's so true. Yep. So I prayed that prayer, and I had no idea that it would be this upcoming year, the following year, because I was in a place mentally where I was trying to build. I was in building mode. I just recently closed on a multi-unit building, trying to finish it up, so I can turn it to a place to house the underserved. And so I had already been like in this mode. I had closed in February, and it was like a couple of days before my birthday, and a few days after I got into a really bad accident. So it had been like a test, from that point. And once I, in this season, like May, when May came, I don't know what it was, but it was something that hit me. It was a Saturday morning. It was May 14th at 8:34 a.m. And I remember the time because I remember like it was yesterday. I woke up and I knew I'm a realtor, and I'm a licensed realtor in Illinois. I knew I had an open house that day. So I don't know what possessed me to get up and start, seeking, but I knew it was the Holy Spirit.
Really?
I really did, because it was such an urgency. And when you become urgent about something, you got to listen.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt in that moment, just to get on Instagram and search out, my future wife. And then I'm typing in.
No, what did you say? This is hilarious. What did you search? What was your search keywords?
I'm typing in hashtag virtuous woman.
Proverbs
I'm typing
31.
Proverbs 31 woman.
That's what killed me. Hashtag Proverbs 31. I said, this joker said, he said, I'm going to get real biblical. Proverbs 31.
Specific.
Yeah.
I did. I was very intentional.
Did you ever put that as a hashtag?
Never. I don't use hashtags.
And I'm going to tell you that's what's the miracle.
Yeah.
That's the miracle.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
the miracle. It's mind-boggling, because from that moment, we look back and say the algorithms had changed in our favor, and it was God's doing.
Miracle.
It was a miracle to happen.
You put
honestly.
hashtag Proverbs 31. Hashtag virtuous woman.
I was seeking, but that was my position. That's where I was mentally. I was actually searching. And, the Bible says, seeking ye shall find.
Yeah.
Don't stop
Yeah.
seeking.
Yeah.
So that's what inspired me, was just to search. And I landed on her page, and it was over.
This is interesting. How many people did you go through before you hit her page?
Before I sent her a message?
Yeah, like were you seeing other women that you was like, oh, she kind of cute. Let me DM her. Let me DM. Let me DM her.
I was looking at it, not it. And I was scrolling, not it. and I literally was, because a man knows what meets his true desire.
Yes.
You can't paint the picture for the man. You have to already be it. So a lot of women try to dress this, and they try to do this,
show this,
and they try
reveal
to
that.
show this, reveal that. No, just be yourself, and the right man will find you.
I say it all the time. I say men should pursue and not persuade, and a woman should present and not pursue.
Yeah.
And all she's doing is just presenting. Just be who you are,
Yeah.
and you will always draw that which you
Yes.
desire. If you find that you're drawing the wrong thing, then that means that whatever you're presenting is something
Right.
wrong. It's advertising. I've been in advertising all my life. And so
Right.
at the end of the day, that we create billboards and commercials to draw a certain audience. If your audience, you drawing dudes that pants sagging all the time and smoking weed all the time and all that, what are you advertising at the end of the day? What are you entertaining in that moment? And then you need to start fine-tuning some things, but women should present. And so what drew you to her?
Honestly, when I first came to her page,
Yep.
the
I
light
want you to
bulb
keep it
went
real.
off. She was fine.
Yeah,
And
keep
she
it real.
still is fine.
Yeah.
So when I
But
saw
I
her,
want to talk about, I saw the Holy Spirit. No, you saw
I
she was
wasn't talking
fine.
about Jesus.
No, I didn't even know she had the Holy Spirit at that point. I honestly didn't. I looked at her page and I'm like, woo, I gotta send her a message. Like, and I had been scrolling, looking. She didn't have a lot of photos. She probably had like 20-something photos from what I remember.
He said they counted all of them too.
Yeah. And I didn't like them. Some people try to
liking
like
all
the like
20 of them?
game. I'm gonna see if they're gonna like me back. It wasn't none of that. It was just a straight DM after I had got done looking at her profile. I looked at her stories. Like, she had some saved stories that was on her page. And I really looked at what stood out to me was not only her beauty, but her family values. So and this is why I always say, like, she set some booby traps for me.
I did, because I told my mom, I said, I feel like my husband is going to find me through social media. This was years ago. And when I was with my family, I'm like, I needed to record y'all because my husband gonna like this.
You said that for real?
I really did.
You said my husband gonna like this?
Because I wanted a
got me.
family man, so I needed him to see that side of me. The Lord kind of put that in my spirit back in 2020 because I was off social media for like 5 years, and I just felt led to get back on social media, which is crazy. That's how we know it's a miracle and it's God's doing, because I had no intention of ever getting back on social media.
And you were literally recording videos talking about, yeah, my future
I was like,
husband.
Mom, get right here, get right here. He needs to see what we got going on.
Yeah. And I saw that interaction. I saw them like celebrating each other. They were dancing. I remember they were celebrating your sis, my new sis, when she had got accepted to college. And it was just this video of just like them running around, just celebrating. I'm like, it's something different about them.
You felt drawn to
it
them.
felt normal. It felt like it was something I was already accustomed to. So that's what inspired me to slide in.
Yeah.
And what was that DM?
It was a long one.
It was.
What do you
Sent me a
say?
paragraph.
It was something along the lines like, hey, I know this may catch you off guard, but that's sometimes how life works. And I said, I checked out your profile and some things stood out that I would like to have a discussion about, or something along those lines. And then there was probably a few more sentences.
You let me know that you are a man that's very intentional.
Yeah. I remember saying that.
Yeah.
I did was that on my live? I say this often. I said, men, we'll go look at your social media. Mm-hmm. And I said, especially me, if a woman's interested in me, just come to my DMs, say something that you saw on my podcast or something, a post that I made, talk about that or whatnot. I'm gonna go through your account. I'm gonna look and see what you posting about, seeing if you turning up most of the time in the pictures and popping bottles and all that stuff. And I'm not attracted to that. And so if I see that there's some alignment, I go, okay, I hear what she's talking about. She has substance. She's talking about some stuff that's aligned with me. Then I'm gonna respond back. And I'll be like, hey, I noticed on your page you talk about this. I really like that. Where did you learn that from? Or whatever that subject matter is. And that's what brings the organic conversation. So I love the fact that proof perfect. You went and looked at her stuff. You went and looked through her stories. You went and looked through all that stuff, and you started feeling a drawing towards her based upon your alignment with her. And then so when you saw that, you felt that he was intentional. And what else did you feel?
I thought that he was very bold and crazy. I'm like, you don't know me, and you're sending me this long paragraph, and you're letting
Which you read. You read the whole thing.
I read the whole thing, but
I can't believe you sent this long thing. Girl, let me tell you what you done wrote me.
I had to give her a lot to digest. Let that thing marinate.
Let it marinate.
Marinate, because, still in the back of my mind, I know what just happened prior before, how I just prayed and asked God for my husband. And he's telling me that he's intentional and that he's so happy that he found my page, that he discovered me. So it was like little words that made me feel like, okay, God, is this you? So...
Because it always gets me emotional. So you looked at it. Then what happened? You went and looked at his page, and then what?
I looked at his page, then I called my girlfriend, my best friend. I'm like, girl, this man's sending me this long DM. And I told her what happened with my godmom, how I was praying the night before. And I told her what my godmom declared over me that was going to happen just like that. So she's like, let me see him. So we started doing our research.
What your friend say when she saw his page?
She was like, you need to respond to him.
No,
Immediately.
So she didn't say, oh, he cute, he fine.
Oh, yeah, she said he's very handsome.
That's what I'm saying. We gotta keep it real.
She was like, he is so handsome. Like, did you respond? I'm like, no, because I don't know him. He's in Chicago.
Shout out to India.
For the plug. She's the plug.
Right.
Yes. So we're doing our research, and she's like, you need to respond to him.
What made her say that?
She just felt it. She told me that we were going to get married that year. She told me we were going to get married.
You talking about from that?
From that, yes.
That moment.
That
she,
moment.
She automatically saw y'all married.
She did. she had never, ever said this about anyone before. So I'm like, you are crazy just like he crazy.
Y'all both crazy. Y'all need to be with each other. Y'all need to be
Crazy faith.
I'm like, are you serious? She said, that's your husband. She
It's
said,
only crazy until it happens. Mike Todd.
That's it, Mike
Yeah.
Todd.
Yeah.
That part, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
She
it.
said, y'all probably gonna be married by September. And we actually got married in October.
This girl said that.
My best friend told me that. She said it's something different about him. She said,
You ain't had not
let
one
him-
conversation with this man.
I was like, I could get you off my phone. So I rushed her off the phone and she kept checking, like, did you talk to him? I didn't, because I had no intention of responding.
So why?
I don't know. I
So-
think because
so
he was
just-
in Chicago.
So you don't normally respond to guys in your DM?
I do, but it didn't get me anywhere. So
I think she was at a place where she was still overcoming trauma.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that too.
Yeah.
About some of the jokers that the court gestures that you dated along the way. And which is interesting because when you start meeting the real one, he has to pay the penalty for all the guys that mismanaged you before.
Come on,
That's
man.
true.
That's so real.
That's true.
But God fashions the main one, the real one, the true one. He fashions him where he's capable of handling all the mishandlings that you've dealt with prior to him.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
and,
right.
and he doesn't take it personally. He'd be like, "Okay, this is the process before the promise. I got you, boo.
Yeah.
I know you may not be able to see me as. I know you may feel like I'm the same as these other people, but time will tell."
Time
And
will
that's
tell.
and that's what my boy
That's it.
Stefan did. He
Yeah.
said,
That's
I'm
it.
gonna show you better than I can tell you.
Yeah.
He showed
Yeah,
me.
yeah. All these other people was talking about marrying you, but I'm gonna
gonna
show you.
marry you.
I'm gonna marry you, just like that.
Just like that.
Suddenly.
And so, exactly. So then, what made you finally? How long did it take for you to finally respond to the DM?
So that was at 8. I saw it immediately. I
4
didn't
hours?
respond to 1.
4 hours. It's still
I
here.
had to get myself together. I'm like, God, am I really about to get back out there? And
How long
release
had you
my
not been out there?
Let's see. 4 months.
4 months.
So I'm like, okay, like I finally became, like I got back healed. I reached a place of wholeness, and now I'm have faith again, but now I'm nervous to like put my faith back out there.
Because your true healing is tested once you
It's
get into another
tested,
relationship.
yes.
See, you only heal to a certain level when you're single. When you get into a relationship or start entertaining somebody else, they are a mirror reflecting all your insecurities, reflecting all your hopes, your desires, your wishes, your wants, and they reflect that. And you're like, I don't want to be wrong. And it brings up everything. That you thought you were healed from, and that's the true test to see if how you overcome those triggers once you
Yeah.
faced with them again. And so I love it. And so you said, hey guys, am I ready to get back out there? It's 4 months. I feel like I've been healed. Then what did you do? Did you respond to him by a DM or what?
Yeah, by DM. I don't remember what I said. What did I say?
You said, hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Trying to ease my way into
I
it.
said this long paragraph. Hey, how are you? That's
I'm
cool,
like,
though. That
oh
was good.
my God, here we go
responded.
again.
That's all I needed.
Yeah. So what did you think when you got that? How are you?
I was so excited. I was at an open house. And when I saw that light up, I'm like, okay, let me do what I need to do. And then let me respond. And I was thrilled, honestly. It was like, you know how that moment you've been waiting for?
Yeah.
You know, because I had already checked her out. I was like miles ahead of her because I didn't know how much research she had done, but I knew how much research I had done on her.
Oh yeah, and you know what got me? I was doing my research, and I saw you. I saw some things. I ain't gonna put it out there, but I saw some things that I really, really liked, and I said, okay, I could take my chances with him.
You could let
No, you gotta go.
Okay,
We keep it lit on here.
Yeah, you
He
let
was
him
on
know.
YouTube, like worshiping, and that was the first thing I wrote down. My prayer list.
Stefan, move your arm away from her. I need a fist bump right here. I need a fist bump. My brother was worshiping.
He
You
was
understand me?
worshiping at his father's church, and I was like, man,
Why you didn't want to say that?
I don't
Talking about damn, he put it on YouTube.
know. He didn't put it on there. The
Well, I mean,
church
but
put it on
the
there.
church on YouTube, you got a chance to see this worship experience. That's beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was up there singing and worshiping.
She's just trying to look after me because she know I'm very protective of my father's ministry.
Oh.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
attention
yeah.
it draws. So yeah, she's
Okay.
looking out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I want to put that out there that you was worshiping. like he was smoking weed or something. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No. He was worshiping.
I'm like, yeah, you gotta tell him now.
No. It was beautiful. And I said, God, I literally just prayed for a worshiper. And to see him worshiping, I had never seen a man in that position before. Yeah. And so that's honestly what made me reach out to you. Like, you were, fine, but that was the one for me.
How important is looks?
It's important.
How? So when you rank it in the hierarchy of needs, how does that rank? Physical attraction with all the other stuff that you said you wanted, you desire, you said a worshiper, man, that's intentional, all this other stuff. What if you met a guy with everything else that you wanted, but he was just average at best?
So I did date that prior to, and I don't know, I kind of felt like I was settling. I feel like God would truly give you the desires of your heart.
So you felt like he had everything else, spiritual alignment, somebody as a worshiper?
No, he didn't have spiritual alignment.
I was going to keep it real.
Okay, no, he didn't have spiritual alignment. But I felt like I could be without the looks. That's why I told God previously, I'm like, okay, obviously the attractive guy, it's not working for me. So I'm trying to find out, maybe I should settle down here or whatever. So I can't really say. I feel like it's all equal. It's all important. I do. I feel like whatever is your desire, it's all important.
Well,
that's why I'm going to ask you. How important is it?
Yeah, honestly, looks was very big on my list. As a man, I look at obviously short-term and long-term thinking. So short-term, I know looks is always going to be on point. Long-term, we get older, naturally. So obviously that was an important thing. But I would say looks was top priority for me.
Top, number one.
It was number one.
So you gonna have the baddest chick that don't love Jesus?
No, but I actually wanted her to love Jesus too.
That's
with the looks.
It's gotta be all.
I want that to be a part of the number one.
So
that's what make her look good.
That's what make her look good.
It do.
So it's just not physical. It's internal and external. It's the package.
Okay.
It's both.
It really is. It's both. It is, because honestly, I have dated some models.
Yeah.
In my dating phases, and it did nothing for me
because it had no spiritual alignment.
It had no substance.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, or spiritual.
That's
alignment.
what I said. So it's not that important. So that's what I'm saying. It's like you can meet some of the baddest women in the world, and like you said, lack substance. And you'll be sitting there talking, and you'll be like, "What am I doing with my life? Is this the best I can do in life?"
Yeah.
Like they have nothing. You can't even see them mothering your kids.
Right.
You can't even see them taking care of you in your old age. You just be like, you just ain't talking about nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's why I said I want to really break that down, because people look at y'all and they go, well, shoot, look at what they got. Of course they like each other because they're both extremely attractive. But the thing about it is, a lot of times people have these standards of saying, this is what I desire. I did an episode in first season called Purpose versus Preference. I have this homegirl. She used to be the principal of my nephew. And she said, looks is everything. But she will always be meeting the most toxic men that do her so wrong. And I'd be like, how'd that work out for you?
Right.
So how'd that work out for you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So how'd that work? How long will you let that keep doing you like that if that's the number one thing?
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, we say it's high priority, but then when we actually get in those relationships, what we're lacking in desire from that person isn't the looks, because you already got that. So that should make you be like, I'm good, I'm happy now. I don't care, as long as you find to look at, then I'm happy. But you be like, oh, you get on my nerves. You so arrogant. You so this. You so you don't spend no time with me. You don't. You're not attentive. You start complaining about everything else.
Right.
And that's why I really wanted to tackle that, because y'all drop videos, and largely your success is largely based on the way y'all look. It draws people in, and then they listen to y'all, and then they find value in the substance that y'all add. But the word attraction is exactly that, the ability to bring forth, to attract. Yeah. And so y'all bring people to y'all, and then they listen, and they go, wow, they have value. This is amazing. They're godly people. This is dope. But then they'll get this expectation. They be like, well, I need to get me the finest man. I need to get me a woman that look like, and you be like, Okay.
Yeah.
See how that work out for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so that's why I said I really want to go through that with a fine tooth comb. You said you've dated models in the past, but they didn't have the substance.
Yes.
And so that left you yearning for what?
For more. And when you're constantly seeking, you're never satisfied.
When you're constantly seeking, you're never satisfied.
You're never satisfied. And I had to learn, when I say I look at looks, it is the attraction. It is the attraction. It's going to take, for you to look beautiful enough to be able to make that first move.
Yes.
And that's what I was mentioning.
Yes.
That's not the end all be all for me. And then, I feel like I get that a lot too. I used to get that a lot of women, they try to find that number one thing, which is the looks.
Yep.
But what a lot of women forget to really look at is, I look at Genesis. When I go back to the Bible, Genesis, and how Adam, was in the garden, if a woman is trying to figure out what does a kingdom man look like, you have to look at it from a perspective that, number one, he knows how to create an environment, right? Right. So we're talking about kings and priests. So there was such a relationship established, between him and God. Like, that's why it drew her to me when she talked about, my relationship with God. That's something that I had already been doing.
Stefan.
She stepped right into and saw what I had already been giving. And so, when a man knows how to create that environment of worship, then you can create a space for her, to be able to step in. So I look at that, like, women, like, look at that, know that men have the ability to create environments.
Yeah.
And so does women too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's one thing. So find someone like that. I would encourage you to find a man that knows how to create that environment, and also find a man that knows how to, who knows his identity and his image. If a man doesn't know his image or identity, trust me, he's going to lead you down the wrong path.
Stefan, teach.
I'm telling you.
Teach. I want you to understand. I want you to go a little deeper on that. You said for a man to understand his identity. Talk, King.
Yeah. So a man knows which direction he's going to go, and he's going to lead you there. If he does not know, then he's not going to live on principle, so you're going to be looking up to him, like, which way should I go? And he's going to be like, I'm going this way and I'm going this way. It's like the Bible talks about how the double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
All of them.
So he has to know his image, his identity. He has to create a space, an environment for a woman. He has to know how to cultivate.
Yes.
A woman.
That's my favorite word.
Has the ability to cultivate you. And another thing you should look for is a man that knows how to honor God and teach God's word, live by his principles, and a hard worker. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Those are some of the things that I had been trying to study, and I watched my father in different ways, and I mirrored as best as I could those qualities.
Love it. Yeah. Look at her. She over there.